greatest console is a tough one. My favorite console to collect for, my favorite two consoles to collect for are Atari 2600 and Intellivision.
Those are like old school.
The most nostalgic. I really do enjoy the simplicity of the games. I like that
you can sit down and like play Pong right now.
Well, Pong
that's crazy.
Isn't really Atari or that's a little pre. I mean, it's.
But I'm saying a game of that level. You can play like Intergalactic.
Pong's a little too whatever, but no, I wouldn't enjoy Pong. But like Atari, like Spider Fighter and Pitfall, and I like that stuff. And television is better graphics.
If you had to pick a.
But I'm not saying those are the greatest of all time. Here's what I'm saying. Favorite versus greatest of all time is two different things. If most played unit right now, I would say my PS5, my Switch Mini, or whatever the new Switch is, whatever the fuck it's called, and then my Steam Deck get the most traction out of me right now. But greatest system, I would hand it to, you got the NES, Atari, Sega Genesis. I mean, PlayStation 1. I'm going to give it to one of the things that like dethroned everybody else.
Well, you're giving it to like the Johnny Unitas. Like you changed the game, the Bobby Orr. Like,
nobody.
Big David's better.
Look, I can think of like
PlayStation 5 is going to be the greatest machine you've ever played.
I can think of 4 systems that I can remember that changed the fuck game where I was like, holy shit.
Okay, let's do that.
It was Atari 2600. Nintendo Entertainment System, which is probably the biggest of all of the ones I'm going to name.
That set the world like in motion.
Sega Genesis, because Sega Genesis managed to temporarily dethrone Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then PlayStation dethroned Nintendo.
See,
there was no other. The PlayStation was supposed to be a Nintendo system, and Nintendo fucked up the deal with Sony.
Wow.
Really? Yeah,
because they got their dicks kicked in during the GameCube and Wii era. Like they were doing it a little.
I had the 64 as a loyalist because it had Star Wars games on it when it launched.
I think 64, and maybe this is just your age and how it all happened, though. I mean, I think I would give it to Nintendo just because it made the world of video gaming in my mind. Atari and all that, I understand, but Nintendo. But I think Nintendo 64 was what like felt like we hit warp drive into the future.
I think it's one of the worst systems ever.
Really?
Created. Yes.
That's crazy to me.
In hindsight, when I first got it, I liked it because it was. Let me tell you what I hate about
GoldenEye,
64.
Mario 64,
GoldenEye was
Mario Kart, like those classics.
GoldenEye was amazing. Star Wars Rogue Squadron was amazing. I remember playing Shadows of the Empire and running around in a first-person shooter, shooting stormtroopers. I was like, holy shit.
Mario 64 is incredible.
Mario 64 is
Mario
great.
Kart 64 is what, like, the Super Nintendo set it in motion, but Mario Kart took it, like...
I didn't like Mario 64. I recognize that it's a great game. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I didn't like the game. I didn't like... That is why... That was my biggest gripe with the Nintendo 60 in hindsight, and I didn't realize it at the time when I was experiencing it. What I did, I got Ocarina of Time as
I was just about to say. I mean, I'm going to take this TV and smash you in the head with it. Saying it's one of the worst of all time is insanity.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Because there's so many other shitty ones.
One of the worst. Let me reframe.
Dreamcast, like suck my dick.
Dreamcast
sucked.
Dreamcast is renowned as one of the greatest systems ever made.
But you fucking
just didn't do as well as it should have.
That's probably true. Like it had the technology, but yeah, so it didn't do well.
But I'll say this about N64. I didn't realize it at the time. N64,
Donkey Kong 64. You're so dumb. That's one of the worst opinions I've ever heard.
No. Donkey Kong 64 is it's okay, but like wait, I'm going to give you an analogy. Just if you'd shut your fucking mouth for a second.
Star Fox, like suck my dick.
Star Fox was way cooler on SNES. It was way more impressive.
But it had the 3D polygon thing going.
Yeah, on NES, on SNES, it was like what the fuck. On 64, it was like yeah, okay, like. Let me tell you what N64 is. N64 is the band doing the fifth album where you're like, hey guys, some of their best songs on this, but overall this does not hit as a whole the way the first few albums do.
I get that.
That's what N64 is. Dude, N64's library was can somebody look this up? I think it was a total of it's in the hundreds of games. In the hundreds. PlayStation 1, I believe, hit somewhere in the ballpark of 4,000 titles released for it.
Okay, I mean,
now
if you're making an argument that quantity is what
N60, well, here's the other thing.
Okay.
N64 focused entirely on 3D polygon games. They abandoned almost entirely anything side-scrolling, anything two-dimensional, which that system would have shined at doing. Instead, they made lesser than versions of 3D polygon games. That is, system is nowhere near as powerful as a PlayStation. The cartridge is its Achilles heel because Nintendo was so fucking naughty that they will be different or whatever. They fucked it up for the developers. And I didn't like the shift when all of a sudden all of my favorite characters like Mario, Earthworm Jim, Donkey Kong, whoever, were suddenly in these 3D worlds. I didn't care for that. And the fact that they did that and completely abandoned the other stuff, I was like, this is...
That I can understand.
And it doesn't age well.
Like
those games are not fun to play anymore.
Oh, suck my dick. We could play fucking GoldenEye right now. It'd be awesome.
Oh,
GoldenEye.
I literally played it last week. It's terrible.
No, I mean, I played it last week too.
GoldenEye is still kind of fun if you're like drunk with some buddies.
Bro,
but I mean, you
always hits.
How many
Mario Kart
titles
in
for the
any
64?
form.
It says that there's 388 licensed releases.
388 licensed releases. How many releases for the original PlayStation?
How many of those games are good?
Oh, dude, so many. So many, dude. Shmups alone on the PS1 blow anything on the...
I feel like PS1...
Dude, here's what PlayStation did. PlayStation was like, we're going to do some perfect arcade ports, guys. We've got the ability to do it now. Let's take some of your favorite games from the arcade, like Raiden or whatever, and we're going to port them right over and give you the arcade experience. Nintendo did none of that with the 64. Their hubris was so fucking out of control. They fucked Sony over. They fucked Sony over.
Don't embellish, Derosa.
They fucked Sony over, and Sony was like, "Well, then go fuck yourselves. We'll do it on our own."
I don't think I realized that. That's a.
They're idiots.
I feel like the Switch has really caught them back up in a way, like they're back in the conversation. But I feel like from GameCube, even through Wii, because Wii was one where they were like, "Look, you can wave the wand," and I was like, "I don't fucking want to bowl. I don't want to do Wii Olympics. I want to play real." When you had to play a real video game. And you had the weird remote.
Wii was a temporary phenomenon.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. It was the first time I had ever seen. Do we got a number?
It says 4K across.
I got
pretty spot on.
3,289.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, the guy knows his
So-
numbers.
I was gonna
right?
say, I think we should stop questioning Joe when it comes to video game numbers.
But the Wii, I'd never that I could remember. I had never seen people line up for a game console in my life.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that.
That was like the virality, like that Oculus is kind of grabbing now, where like there would be viral clips of someone like throwing their remote and hitting the TV.
Yeah, because
it's almost like advertising for it. Like, you can destroy your TV.
Yeah,
that's how real
it changed the way you. But I'm like, I want to fucking sit on the
then it
couch
went away.
and be a fat piece of shit
Yeah.
and play a game.
And it went, and then it immediately
disappeared.
went away. It was
That was
PlayStation, and I think PlayStation Move, and then Xbox did the Kinect, and nobody gave a fuck about motion controls.
PlayStation
It all
5
went away.
is really that impressive.
Have you played it yet?
No.
Look, they're both. The Xbox is more, as far as I understand, is the Xbox is the closest to PC gaming you can get with a console. So I'm playing Resident Evil 4 Remake on Xbox right now, and I looked it up online and side by side videos and everything. The Xbox experience for that game is as good as graphically as you can get, which I'm excited about because Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite video games of all time.
Yeah.
So I wanted the best experience. PS5, I find, is a little more exciting because the controller, there's like 1,000 or 10,000 or some stupid amount of vibration variations in it.
Yeah.
So like, and then the audio aspect of the controller, like when the games that are fully designed for the PS5, like they really draw you in.
I'm
like,
I heard that the PlayStation is with their new controls, they can do heat and cooling. Is that true?
That I don't know. That'd be pretty
It's
cool.
going to be a full-blown vibrator at some point.
Well, it was like,
But
PlayStation's going to make you come.
But the Xbox is a powerhouse with Game Pass and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't fuck